Alright, how can we get the Epic Knights mod? The Epic Knights mod is available for multiple versions within the mod itself. It's a mod compatible with Epic Fight, okay? First off, keep in mind this isn't just a decorative mod, but it's also compatible with combat mod. So, we'll search for Epic Knights on CurseForge, go to Files and look for Forge. We'll go to All Versions and select 20.1. We'll click the 3 buttons and then download file. Save that file by pressing Windows +R, then go to App Data, Roaming Minecraft and the mods folder. That's where we'll be saving the Epic Knights mod, okay? As you can see, it has some required dependencies. Architecture API and Cloth Config API with over 20.8 million users over 4 years. And we have the Architecture API right here. Now we do the same thing, selecting the same filter with the same software and version. And then for Cloth Config, we do exactly the same thing, okay? This way we can access Epic Knights without any problem. Alright, to start with the Epic Knights mod, we're going to need steel, which is the core of this mod, okay? As you can see, all the items in the mod itself need or require steel. Right? Almost 20, or rather 24 pages of crafting recipes with triple crafting, which means about 70 recipes are unlocked with steel. So how do we get this mineral? Well, this mineral won't appear as an ore, but we'll get it by smelting an iron ingot with steel in a blast furnace. To get steel plates, which are also essential in the mod, we'll need 2 steel ingots, okay? These also, as you can see, unlock another 30 crafting recipes, 28 recipes. And we can also make rings, which are crafted with 4 nuggets, which will also be useful for making chainmails or steel chains, okay? Steel chains are used to make lots of weapons like steel flays, and also steel chainmail is useful for making very, very strong chainmail armor, okay? Other basics will be leather, okay? Or leather strips that are also obtained using 2 pieces of leather. These fabrics, okay? Which are made with 6 thread or 3 wool. And we'll also need poles, which are made with 2 hills, which are made with a stick and leather. And these will basically serve us for longer weapons and such. So yeah, this is essential, okay? To be able to progress within the mod, and these would be the more basic items in this mod. So we're going to look at how to craft light armor in the Epic Knight mod. These are armors that, as I mentioned, we can wear without them being too complicated to craft. It's a starting point for mod progression. The first one is Gambeson, which has a chest plate made with woolen fabric, and Gambeson boots made with woolen fabric and leather strips, okay? As you know, pretty basic resources. Then we have the Brigandine, made with pants or steel. Actually, steel plates, which are made from steel ingots that you get this way. And then we have chainmail, which is quite similar to Minecraft's own chainmail armor. As you can see, we don't have boots or anything. It's made with steel chainmail, okay? But the difference is that it's craftable. And then on the other hand, we have the reinforced chainmail, okay? With its boots and so on. I'll be showing you the crafting recipes, which simply add those steel ingots, okay? It's equivalent to iron, okay? As you can see, 3 armor pieces are practically the same as iron, and then we have, for example, the Norman helmet, okay? And the shell shack for slightly lower levels, okay? To protect. As you can see, it's armor very similar to iron, okay? Alright, how can we progress from the intermediate tier plate to the knight tier, okay? So first of all, we have the lamella armor, right? These are armor pieces made with what we call lamella rows. Lamella rows are made with small steel plates, which are made from steel ingot, and then leather strips. And we have boots that, well, this armor gave us 4 protection. We're obviously missing several pieces, right? Then we also have, on the other hand, the 14th century armor, okay? This one protects us a bit more, almost like iron armor. We'd be missing the helmet, right? But we're talking about very good armor with those steel plates made this way and a bit more expensive. We're talking about 1 steel plate costing 2 iron, okay? And then we have the knight armor, right? We have knight, gothic, and others in this tier. They all do the same thing. Here we have the gothic armor. Now we also have the knight and Catan styles. Let me find it. Custom Bruce. We also have the Maximilian style too. All of this would give us a complete armor set that's almost diamond level, okay? So let's look at the crafting process. But crafting is, well, it's made with the armet. The armet it's made with a barbuta, which is crafted like this. Knight leggings are made with steel plates, knight boots, and knight armor, which uses half armor made this way. So we'll be spending quite a few resources making these armor sets, okay? So yeah, that's how you advance to the next tier. Alright, so let's talk about heavy armor, okay? The Epic Knights mod adds weight to armor pieces and shields, and the heavier ones cause slowness and reduce your speed. The advantage is they have very high stats. We're talking about 3 armor pieces, for example. The adjusting books, which reduce slow movement. They're the only ones that do this besides some collections like this shield. This shield weighs 13 kilos, reduces tons of damage, and you can shift right click to place it on the ground, so be careful with the shield, alright? Anyway, we have Justin's armor, which gives a ton of protection, okay? Plus 15 knockback resistance, but obviously its price is literally bathed in gold, right? But I had to mention it anyway. On the other hand, we have Knight armor, which I've already shown you. Gothic, Kattenberg, which are top tier for knockback resistance, okay? It has acceptable mobility for plate armor. And importantly, I recommend that if your mobility drops too much and you become too tanky to move properly, maybe mix different armor pieces or have some players be tanks while others are more agile. You know, that's something each of you will need to figure out. How can we obtain and use the special armors in the Minecraft Epic Knight mod? There are different notable sets, like the Crusader, right? It has a large cross on the chest, as we can see, and has good stats. It has a bit of armor toughness too, and is crafted with woolen fabric and reinforced chainmail. I can show you all of them briefly so you can see, but they're pretty simple to craft. Then we have the Ceremonial Knight, with much more powerful armor without leggings, or effectively without pants, which gives us some flexibility and a bit of armor toughness plus tons of knockback resistance. It's made using an armlet, adding this smiting template that's crafted with gold ingot and a small steel plate. Interestingly, I don't think the stats improve at all. Let's see, 3, 125, 5, indeed, it just changes the aesthetic. Then we have the Winged Hussar, which is what I'm wearing right now, okay? Very, very good armor with 6 armor points and 0.5 armor toughness. It has that weird crafting recipe using iron and other materials. It's an intermediate level between iron and diamond. And then we have the Cuirass, which includes the Birkenet, Cuirass, and Pantyhose. It's more for roleplay than meta. As you can see, it protects all armor parts, but only gives 4 protection points, okay? Here we have the Birkenet, the Cuirass, the Pantyhose. Like I said, this is purely for show and more for role-playing than anything else, okay? Alright, so how can we equip armor on a horse in Minecraft with Epic Knight? Well, this is a bit of a side video, but basically we can put a saddle on horses without any issues, okay? And a mount, specifically chainmail armor, as we're seeing here. Got it? This armor will protect the horse with 8 hit points, which isn't bad at all. And it has the following crafting recipe, okay? As you can see, it doesn't have a crafting recipe, okay? You can only find this in chests, temples, pyramids, and such places. Also worth mentioning that we have these weapons with longer reach that are designed for horseback combat, and they have a chance to knock enemies off their horses, okay? For example, these ranged weapons help us play as knights and push opponents in case they're using a horse, okay? So that's it, it's that simple. I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, how can we use weapons that are essentially ranged weapons, some with blocking capabilities? Okay, these are two-handed weapons, right? This means we theoretically need both hands to wield them, and we'll start with the pike. It has more than 3 blocks of reach and doesn't block with damage and speed similar to an axe, okay? Basically, this extra distance is what will make us stand out from others. Then we also have the Ranseur, which has slightly less range, right? 2 less reach, but it can block up to 3 damage maximum, okay? As you can see, with right click, we can block damage without any issues, while with the pike, we couldn't. And then we have the bronze weapons, right? We have the Loach over axe and also the halberd, okay? It has very high damage, a reach of 2.5, and the halberd is the strongest weapon in the mod. It can dismount riders with a 2% chance of knocking enemies off horses. Actually, it has a chance to knock enemies off horses plus 2% armor piercing. They're really very good weapons with blocking capabilities and more. So that's it, pretty simple. Alright, how to use long and special swords in Minecraft with Epic Knight. Let's start by talking about the Bastard Sword. Okay, theoretically it's used with 2 light hands. It barely penalizes shield use, is well balanced, has 5 maximum damage, good blocking, and weighs 1.8 kilos. Quite good. It has normal range and a very, very good attack speed with 36 attack speed and 7.54 attack. And this is with the iron version, okay? If we went to higher levels like netherite, it's almost 10 damage and 1.3 speed, okay? Obviously the weight remains the same, okay? Then we have the diamond stock, okay? It basically has a bit of armor piercing and extra reach, about 3% armor piercing and 0.5 more reach. We have the Claymore, which deals great damage, okay? We're talking about 9 damage points while we're in the bronze tier. If we upgrade to Netherite, it has 11.55 damage, which is insane, right? Then we have the Zweihander, which is huge, has more reach and better armor piercing, about 4% armor piercing and plus 0.5 reach. And finally, we have the Flame-Bladed Sword, which is basically like the Zweihander, but reduces the target's maximum health for a period of time. And many two-handed weapons, right? They can block melee attacks, not arrows or explosions, but melee attacks from large mobs like Enderman golems. Yes, it's true that it would be a bit more complicated against large mobs, but against small mobs, we should be able to block their attacks without major problems, or at least without taking damage, since we have a block capacity of 6 maximum damage, which means we should tank zombie hits without any issue. I'm going to summon a zombie, will be very peaceful. I'll summon a zombie so you can see how I can effectively block its attacks without any problem, okay? Then, if I summon an iron golem, it can't do anything to me because it's too strong. Enderman, let's summon an Enderman and look him in the eyes. If he attacks us, okay? We'll take a tiny bit of damage, okay? Get out of here. Well, often it won't even take away any damage or health, okay? But as you can see, the weapon wears out quickly, okay? So yeah, it's that simple. How can we master maces and hammers, okay? Within the Epic Knights mod, we have different variants. The first is the mace, right? Or the heavy mace. It has good damage and armor piercing, which is basically what these weapons excel at. And it's effective against plate armor. It's true, we don't see any armor piercing stat here. Perhaps it was in older versions, but for example, the Iron Heavy Warhammer has 15% armor piercing. Then we have the Luzerne Hammer, right? Two-handed weapon with 20% armor piercing and 0.7 extra reach, giving it slightly more range. We have the Morning Star, which has medium-high damage and is faster than other maces. So we're talking about good damage here. For iron, it does 8.26 damage. Not bad at all. And then we have the Flail, which has high damage but is quite slow. It has a peculiar style aesthetically, it looks quite unique, and it deals massive damage but with a slower attack speed. Unfortunately, it doesn't have piercing or reach, which honestly reduces its reliability as a weapon, since this type of weapon typically stands out for having more range. It doesn't have any special abilities, not even a swing attack like throwing the ball or anything like that. I understand that if it had those abilities, the weapon might be too overpowered compared to others, but well, if it is what it is, right? Alright, how can we use the spear, okay? There are lots of spears with many cool different aesthetics, but they only work while mounted, okay? It's important to right click to lower it, okay? And then move forward and ram someone. Let's try to summon an iron golem, okay? So as you can see, there it is. You move forward with the lowered spear until you ram someone, okay? It doesn't do that much damage, don't worry. And once you attack, it automatically raises back up. It's super broken, I mean it's very, very overpowered. But if there are multiple targets, we'll have a problem. Let's lower the spear, okay? For example, we attack an iron golem. And as you can see, I quickly have the attack available again. It's really broken. Seeing it like this, it's super overpowered. It has 10% armor piercing, 2 reach, okay? Not much else. It's devastating, but you're completely dependent on the horse, and the moment you lose it, riding a horse means more speed, but also means you can't place blocks, and you're a much easier target. So, not everything is good, but it's definitely quite broken, okay? Very well, and to finish covering all the tools and other aspects of the mod, this mod doesn't have much else to offer, okay? Apart from all the tools and such, it's true there might be some others I haven't mentioned, but they're minor things like the shields, okay? There are different types of shields, but ultimately there isn't much to say about them beyond aesthetics, and that some can be placed while others reduce your movement. Yes, they can reduce damage based on maximum damage received, but that's it. There aren't any more mechanics, okay? So let's move on to talk about short weapons or light weapons or ranged weapons like the stiletto, okay? It's a dagger with quite high armor piercing, 15%. It's cheap and it's very fast to attack with. We also have the short sword, okay, which is very similar to the vanilla sword, but it's a little bit FA, faster, okay? We have the noble sword, which is a golden variant of the Ajdar half, okay? A bit faster, but with less damage. It also has the ability to block, okay? Important to note since it's two-handed. We have the long bow, which basically has more damage and much less drop than a normal bow, okay? Obviously, it loads slower, okay? And if we fully charge it, we'll do critical damage, okay? As you can see, if we shoot the arrow like this, it doesn't have the critical effect. If we charge it completely, it does come out with that critical effect. And then we have the heavy crossbow, okay? It does a lot of damage, but it takes quite a while to load and has almost no drop, okay? That is, I'm going to shoot, look, I'm going to shoot at that bush, okay? That bush over there, I aim, shoot, and we'll see where the arrow landed. 2 blocks have fallen below, which makes no sense at all. For example, that iron golem does take a long time to charge, right? If we shoot the iron golem, let's see how much health we've taken away. We've taken 9 health points. And with the longbow, let's see, boom, wow, with the longbow, we've taken away much more, huh? Let's see, critical hit, 100 damage, 13 health, okay? So yeah, I don't know if it adds many more tools, not from long distance it seems, okay? And I don't know if it adds different types of arrows either, okay? So anyway, you can be completely relaxed about that, okay? And obviously you can use the arrows that Minecraft already gives us, like the spectral arrow, okay? You can use it without any problem. So that's it. With this, I've covered the entire epic mod, which Epic Nights. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in future videos.